By golly, it's amazing. It sounds like something you'd hear on the radio.
Presenting the transcription feature.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson.
It's 8:30 New York time. Time to wake up, America, and stump the expert.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Johnny Dollar.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve.
And now meet Dick Calmer as Boston Blackie.
It's the Phil Harris, Alice Faye Show, presented transcribed by the makers of Rexall Drug Products.
And now it's time to meet the men from the ministry.
The Armed Forces Radio and Television Service presents the Bob Hope Show with Les Brown and his band of renown. And yours truly, Bill Goodwin. And now here he is, Bob Hope.
Greetings, I'm Kevin Lauderdale. It's been way too long since I brought you an episode of the Phil Harris, Alice Faye Show. This, of course, was a spin-off from the Jack Benny Show, where Phil Harris, his real name, was the actual band leader of the show's orchestra. Phil and his real-life wife, actress Alice Faye, had their own show from 1946 to 1954. It started off as a variety program. It became a sitcom proper in 1948. They played heightened versions of themselves, with other actresses playing their children, and Phil and his pal Frankie Remley, oh wait, that's Elliott Lewis, getting into trouble. Yeah, if you've listened to previous episodes, sometimes his buddy is Frankie Remley, and as in this one, sometimes it's Elliott Lewis. It's exactly the same actor doing exactly the same sort of stuff. Well, the character of Frankie Remley was played by the actor Elliott Lewis. Because that character had come from the Jack Benny Show, when Jack Benny moved from NBC to CBS, with Harris and Faye staying at NBC, the rights to that character name left too. So Elliott Lewis just started using his own name. It was explained in another episode that Remley had just been a stage name, but now that he was a big star, his mother wanted him to use his real name. Which, if you think about it, doesn't make any sense. If anything, you'd want to keep the name that made you famous because it was attached to your success. It was your brand. Oh well. Speaking of names, here's a few notes. Phil Harris calls Alice Faye Brenda in a toss-off line. I think he's referencing Brenda Fraser, the sophisticated socialite and debutante of the 1930s. Boys' Week, or sometimes Children's Day, is a thing I've only ever seen in fiction. I don't know if it was ever real. It is a time when children are put into positions of adult authority. It's referenced here with boys, and of course it's the 1950s, so no girls, being allowed to serve as a district attorney or fire chief, things like that. Joe Miller is the author of Joe Miller's Jests, a collection of jokes and amusing anecdotes, the first version of which came out at least as early as the 1730s in England. To make a reference to Joe Miller is shorthand for any joke or piece of humor that's old and probably worn out. Peter the Hermit was a French priest during the First Crusade, 1095 to 1099. Why is he being referenced in the 1950s? They needed a hermit reference. Did everyone in the 1950s know his name? I don't think so, but name a famous hermit. The show had certain conventions even within the restriction of a sitcom. As usual, Phil's nemesis, the smart aleck neighborhood grocery delivery boy Julius, will show up, and Phil and Alice will sing a song. They always sing a song. Sometimes it's just Phil singing a song. Sometimes it's just Alice singing a song. This time they do a duet. And sorry to do this to you, but it's a song you're about to hear an awful lot of on the radio. Just a super nerdy note on the title. You will sometimes see this episode called Traffic Problems in Los Angeles. But in this particular instance, we actually get to hear the announcer give the title at the end of the warm-up prior to the show proper, and he definitely uses the singular. So, from November 27th, 1953, the Phil Harris, Alice Faye Show, the traffic problem in Los Angeles.
But soft,
What light through yonder window breaks? 'Tis the east, and Juliet is the sun. Oh, Harris, you ought to be pitching for the Yankees. You've got so much on the ball.
RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, and first in television, presents the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. For your enjoyment, here is the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, transcribed, written by Ed James and Lou Derman, with Elliott Lewis, Walter Tetley, John Hubbard, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharpness music, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. Tonight, we bring you a bright little gem entitled The Traffic Problem in Los Angeles, or Dante's Inferno. First, however, here's a word from RCA Victor. And now the stars of the RCA Victor program, Alice Faye and Bill Harris. When the average husband refers to his better half, he means his wife, but not Phil Harris. To Phil, his better half is his left profile. Or is it his right? Well, anyway, here he comes with both profiles shining and a full set of teeth to match.
Two loves have I, it's a perfect parlay. My wife's a doll, but I love RCA. Oh, hiya, honey. What are you looking at?
Oh, Phil, the prints of our new pictures just arrived.
Oh, they did, huh? Well, let's mail them out. Let's not keep all that beauty to ourselves.
Hey, they look pretty good, don't they?
Let me see them. Gosh, you look wonderful, Alice. Just wonderful.
Oh, thank you, kind sir, she said.
Well, I don't know about me. Somehow, pictures don't do me justice.
Why, Phil.
No, honey, I mean it. Now, look at this one. Look. He's got that boyish twinkle in my eyes, but, well, he didn't capture my lovable, devil-may-care smile.
You mean your wolfish leer?
No, I mean the magnetic charm that makes me irresistible to all females between 16 and 60.
Is that their age or their IQ?
Now, take it easy, will you, Brenda? You married me, didn't you? Don't that show that I attract the brainy type?
Duh. What'd you say, Bub?
Hey, do that again, Alice, will you? That reminds me of a dame I used to go with in Nashville.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, honey. No, I'm not. You should have seen her. Red hair, blue eyes, and skin like a 10-year-old.
How old was she?
10 years old. Of course, I was only 11 at the time. In them days, I was known as Marshmallow Harris. Toast of the Campfire Girls. Them was the days.
Say, Phil.
Yeah.
Speaking of girls, which you somehow always manage, what do you suppose happened to ours? They should have been home from school an hour ago.
Maybe they got too smart and the teacher's keeping them in to give them some more stupid pills. It happens. Phyllis told me. She said she would have had straight A's last month if it wasn't for them stupid pills.
Oh, I don't know. Those girls tell you anything and you believe it.
Honey, wait a minute. Phyllis got a D in English, didn't she? And you know no daughter of mine ain't getting no D in English if they ain't giving her no stupid.
Phil, what's a coquette?
A what?
A coquette.
It's a small Coke. What?
Just testing.
Alice, I happen to know this English language like a native. So go ahead. Test me again. Ask me anything.
All right. What's a silhouette?
It's a small salute. Thought I didn't know, huh?
And a baguette?
A baguette? Well, that'd be, a baguette's a small girl. You know, honey, they didn't hand out none of them stupid pills when I went to school.
Oh, they handed out something.
Hi, everybody. We're home.
Well, it's about time you kids got here. Where you been?
Girls, you know I worry every time you don't come straight home from school.
But we did, Mom. You just can't get across Ventura Boulevard, that's all.
Well, why don't you cross with the light?
There isn't any light at White Oaks. And every time you try to cross, the cars begin chasing you. But we fool them. We keep running back and forth.
Atta girl. That's the way to do it. Don't give them a chance to aim. Just... Don't they have a crosswalk at White Oak?
Well, it's all rubbed out.
Well, how about the safety zone?
Honey, them things are pickup stations for the Blue Cross. About the only way to get on the other side of Ventura Boulevard is to be born there.
Done about it.
Well, what happened to that petition that Willie got up for a light at White Oak? Didn't everybody sign it?
Well, the city said the funds were all gone.
Oh, fine, funds. A big city like this, and they can't shell out for one puny light.
I know somebody can fix it. Sniffy.
Sniffy?
She thinks he's so wonderful. He's a district attorney, isn't he? Some district attorney.
All right, wait a minute. Sniffy is the district attorney? How could a 15-year-old kid be
Now, look, honey, it's Boys' Week, and Sniffy's father appointed him honorary district attorney.
Oh, well. If he's anything like his father, he'll be a big help.
My boyfriend is the assistant fire chief. Some boyfriend. And he can get a light faster than any old district attorney, I bet you. He cannot. He
All
can,
right,
too.
kids.
What good's an old district attorney?
Phyllis.
He isn't old, and he's
Look,
better than any
Alice.
old fire chief. He isn't
Alice.
either. He
Look,
certainly is.
will you cut it, kids?
He is, too.
Alice, will you cut it? Phyllis, will you stop that? Stop it.
Pardon me, is this the contented hour?
Oh, hello, Elliott. Come on in.
Hi, Uncle Elliott. Hi.
What's up? I could hear you clear down the driveway.
Uncle Elliott, isn't a district attorney better than a fire chief? Assistant fire chief.
All right, girls, all right.
That's even worse. It isn't either.
Okay, that does it. Upstairs, the both of you.
But, Dad.
You heard your father. Upstairs.
But, Mom.
Not another word.
Gee whiz. You and your district attorney think he's so wonderful. He's better than your old fire chief. He isn't either. He is, too. He isn't. He is, too. Isn't.
Good thing I had the bottle glued on that table.
What are they doing? Trying out for What's My Line?
Elliott, Alice and I have something we'd like to discuss.
Go ahead. I won't say anything. I'll just listen.
Phil,
Wait a minute, honey. Wait a minute. Elliott.
Hmm?
You know, sometimes a married couple likes to be alone.
They do?
How would you like it if you were married to Alice and I was around all the time?
Let's try it that way for a while.
All right.
You know, Elliot, we do have a problem. There's no traffic light at White Oak, and Alice and Phyllis have a terrible time getting across the street.
Why do they have to cross the street?
To get on the other side.
Oh, Curly. Joe Miller would be proud of you.
It ain't a joke.
He thought it was.
Elliott, the school's on the other side.
Nah, that's ridiculous. Who ever heard of a chicken going to school?
What chicken?
The one that crossed the street to get to the other side.
Alice, can I see you out in the garage?
What's going on out in the garage?
Elliot, now look, honey, this is a very serious problem.
Oh, okay, let's all go out in the garage.
It's got nothing to do with the garage. Alice and Phyllis can't cross the street because there isn't any traffic light.
Why don't they use the crosswalk?
Because there isn't any crosswalk.
Okay, let's paint one.
Now, look, Elliot, listen to me. Don't...
Phil, wait wait a minute.
You don't have to say a word to me, honey. I promised you, and I'm not getting mixed up in any more of his crazy ideas. You
But
don't
it's
have
a good idea. I like it.
rocket ship to the moon, uranium and... You what?
I think Elliott's idea is very good.
Oh, honey, you better get some sleep. Lie down right over here. Now, take it easy. Just rest a minute.
Now, stop it, Phil. There's nothing wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with Elliott's idea.
But every other time Elliott's had an idea,
You've gotten into trouble, I know. But how can you possibly get into trouble painting a few white lines?
She's right, Curly.
I don't know.
It doesn't take any brains. A 3-year-old child can paint a white line.
You see, Curly, it's right down our alley. All we need is some paint and a couple of brushes.
I got a feeling that something's going to happen. But let's go paint some lines.
Boy, look at them cars. There must be a million of them.
Look at them later, will you? We got to get these lines painted.
Okay, Mr. Rembrandt. Where we start?
Right at the corner. Now, you start on this side, and I'll go across the street, and we'll both work toward the middle. Got it?
Got it. And Curly? Look out!
That guy almost killed me.
Did you see him snarl when he missed?
Yeah. Look, Elliott.
Huh?
I'll start over here, and you go across the street.
Okay. And Curly?
Look out!
Curly, why don't we just paint lines on this side?
Elliott, why do you ask so many stupid questions?
That's stupid?
Sure, it's stupid. We're supposed to paint a crosswalk all the way across. If we only put lines on one side of the street, it's no good. We'll have all this paint left over.
Well, we could paint a couple of lines down the middle. A straight one for men drivers and a zigzag one for lady drivers.
We're going to paint a crosswalk.
Okay, let's start painting.
All right, now, move over there about 10 feet, and then we'll paint across together.
Right. You just give me the notice.
All right. On your mark, get set, go! Elliott.
Yes, Curly?
Let's talk this thing over.
Okay.
If we can't get out into the road, we can't paint the lines, can we?
That seems like a reasonable supposition.
And every time we step off the curb, we get chased by a car. Right?
Dead right.
That's what I'm afraid of. Now, there's only one sensible way to do this. One of us has to paint, and one of us has to act as a decoy.
A decoy?
Yeah.
What's a decoy?
A decoy? Well, it's like, look, one of us stands in the middle of the road, and the cars all aim at him. So they don't notice the other guy, who is quietly painting.
You mean the guy that's out there ducking cars? That's a decoy.
Yeah. One of us.
You wouldn't have any ideas about which one of us.
Good luck, Elliott.
So long, Curly. Just remember, I'm doing this for your wife and kids. Your wife and kids.
Ha-ha, you missed me. Ha-ha, you missed again.
Get much painting done, Curly?
Well, if it ain't Crazy Legs Hirsch.
Back in that old bakeroo, didn't I?
Yeah, man, you were spinning in and out.
How's the painting coming along?
Are you kidding? I didn't even get the brush wet.
Fine. I'm getting chased all over the boulevard, and you go to sleep on the job.
Are you kidding? You weren't gone 2 seconds.
In 2 seconds, how could I get 10 years older?
Oh, Elliott, now look. Let's try it again, and try to stay out there a little longer.
Oh, wait a minute.
Huh?
Wait, Curly. Just hold it.
Now what's the matter?
I got a better idea. People get killed even in crosswalks, don't they?
Sure, but it ain't considered cricket.
Cricket, schmicket. They get knocked for a loop. You know what we do?
What?
We dig a tunnel.
Elliott.
It's a very practical idea.
I don't know
Look,
about...
Curly, do they have crosswalks over the Hudson River?
No.
Do they have tunnels under the Hudson River?
Well, sure.
Then why ain't it a good idea?
I ain't said it wasn't. I just don't think that Alice is going to like it, that's all.
She liked the crosswalk, didn't she? And this is better, believe me.
Well, I don't know. Elliott, where are you going?
You stay right there, Curly. I gotta borrow a pick and shovel.
How you doing, Elliott?
Hey, I'm not kidding, Curly. This is tough work. I'm getting a blister.
Ah, what are you worried about? Another couple of 100 feet and you'll be all through. Go ahead, Roy. Keep digging. Let me hear it up here. Dig it out.
All right. Hey, Curly.
Yeah.
There's another flock of wires down here.
What kind?
Same as last time. Bell telephone.
Pull them out.
All of them?
Sure. What do we want with telephone wires? Now, if there was electric wires leading to an RCA Victor television set with a 27-inch screen, that'd be different.
You mean RCA Victor television sets work good in tunnels?
Good. They even work in a cave. Peter the Hermit's got one in every room. Nothing.
But these are telephone wires, so I chop them out, right?
Right.
Okay. Chop, chop.
Attaboy, Elliott. You're doing fine.
Well, and how are you this fine evening?
Oh, hello, officer. Beautiful night, isn't it?
You and your friend lost something?
Oh, no. We're just digging a hole.
Hey, Curly, here's the wire.
Okay, toss it out.
Yep.
Attaboy. It's just some old telephone wires we chopped out, officer.
I see.
Hey, Curly, I gotta rest for a minute. Oh, hello, officer.
Would you mind telling me exactly what you're doing?
Well, when we started, we were painting a crosswalk.
8 feet under the ground?
No. No, you see, my friend here explained to me that they didn't have any crosswalks over the Hudson River, but they had lots of tunnels. So we decided to dig one.
Oh, this is going to be a tunnel under the Hudson River. Is that it?
Oh, officer, they have tunnels like this all over the world. Like in Germany, under the Autobahn.
And you're digging a spare.
He's got a great sense of humor, hasn't he? No, officer, look. This kid's sharp as a biscuit. No, look, you don't understand, officer. You see, I've got 2 little girls, and they have to cross the road.
Like Joe Miller's chicken.
But there's no light here.
So we're digging a tunnel instead.
You're digging a tunnel under Ventura Boulevard?
You know a better way to get across?
We could build a bridge, but a tunnel's so much more practical.
Especially when it rains.
Yeah.
Well, you keep digging your tunnel, boy. I've got to make me call into the station.
Yeah, all right. So long, officer. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you come back any time.
Hey, he was a nice guy, wasn't he? Yeah, he got a lot.
Hello, Tim. This is Mike. Send the wagon. I've got a couple of doozies.
I'll only stay a few minutes.
All right, Mrs. Harris. You'll find your husband in cell 2. That's the bridal suite.
Thank you. The bridal suite?
Yes, ma'am. That has twin straitjackets.
Oh, Phil. You were supposed to paint 2 little lines.
Honey, it's all a mistake. We'll be out of here in no time.
Wait till I tell my congressman. Just wait.
What am I going to tell the girls? Their father's a jailbird?
Now, don't worry, Alice. I'll be out the first thing in the morning.
If they hadn't have taken away the pick and shovel, we could have been out of here tonight.
Honey, I brought your pajamas and your toothbrush.
Oh, thanks, honey, but it's not that bad. This ain't a bad jail. It's nice and warm.
Well, I'd better go, Phil.
Can't you stay a few more minutes?
But the girls...
No sense going out in the cold when you could stay here in a nice, comfortable jail.
Phil, I ought to go home.
Honey, please.
I simply can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you'd drop
so
in.
very warm.
I'll hold your hands, they're just
My
like
mother will start to worry.
beautiful. What's your
And
hurry?
father will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Well, maybe
hurry.
just a half a drink more.
Put some records on while I
The
pour.
neighbors may think.
Baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in
No
this drink?
cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your
how
eyes are like starlight
to break
now.
the spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I ought to
swell.
say no, no, no,
Mind
sir.
if I move in
At
closer?
least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my
I
pride?
really can't
Oh,
stay.
baby, don't hold out.
Oh, but it's cold outside. I simply must
Baby, it's
go.
cold outside.
The answer is
But
no.
baby, it's cold outside.
The welcome has
How
been
lucky that you dropped
so
in.
nice and warm.
Look out the window at
My
that
sister
storm.
will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves upon the tropical
My
shore.
maiden aunt's mind is vicious.
Gosh, your lips are delicious.
Well, maybe just a cigarette more.
Never such a blizzard before.
I've gotta get
But
home.
baby, you'll freeze out there.
Say, lend me a
It's
call.
up to your knees out there.
Oh, you've really been
I
grand.
thrill when
But
you
don't
touch
you
me
see?
hand. How can you do this thing to
There's
me?
bound to be talk tomorrow.
Think of my lifelong
At least
sorrow.
there will be plenty implied.
If you get pneumonia
I
and
really
die,
can't stay.
get over it, baby.
Oh, but it's
cold outside.
The court will rise.
Hey, Curly, I'm getting worried.
Oh, worried about what? We didn't do nothing. What's wrong with digging a tunnel?
Quiet over there.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Municipal Court of the Los Angeles Judicial District, Division 32. The Honorable Robert Anderson presiding is now in session. Be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this is Boys' Week, and so assisting me on the bench will be a representative elected to this office by the student body of the Encino High School. My colleague and associate, the Honorable Julius Abruzio. Julius! Help! Proceed, Judge Abruzio.
It's a pleasure, Your Honor. Bailiff,
Yes, Your Honor.
what's the first ducat on the docket?
People versus Phil Harris and Elliott Lewis. Charge destroying public property.
I find them guilty and sentence them to life imprisonment.
Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute.
Julius, it's us. Your friends.
Step down.
Judge Abruzio, may I confer with you for one moment?
Okay, Your Honor. Everybody hold it a second. My honor's going to confer with his honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Abruzio, before we sentence the defendants, don't you think it might be a good idea to hold the trial?
But, Judge, I know these guys. We'd be letting them off light if we executed the both of them.
I object on the grounds that he's irrelevant, immaterial, and inconstitutional.
According to the 21st Amendment.
The 21st Amendment. That repeals prohibition.
Yeah, wasn't that a beauty?
Quiet or I'll have you put in solitary. Your Honor, can I clip these jakes for contempt of court?
Well, by all means.
Oh, Julius, you wouldn't do a thing like that, would you?
Now look, you little fink.
$20 for contempt of court.
What?
And $20 for asking questions.
$40, please.
Pay the man, Curly.
You and your tunnels. Here.
Judge Abruzio, shall we proceed?
Do we have to?
Well, Julius, the court of this country are designed to protect the innocent as well as to punish the wrongdoer. In our democracy, every man is deemed innocent until proven guilty.
Well, let's prove him guilty and get it over with. Who's the first witness?
The arresting officer, Your Honor.
Hiya, Mike.
Hello, Junior.
Oh, we're in great shape.
$20 for opening your yacht.
I object.
And $20 for objecting.
$40, please. Thank you.
Oh, don't mention it. Don't mention it.
Swear in the witness.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed, Your Honor.
Mike, what were these criminals doing when you found them?
Digging a hole.
I object. It was a tunnel.
Now you did it. It opens by itself.
Wait till I get you outside, you little creep.
Elliot, will you stop it? Stop.
That'll be $50 more.
We must have moved to a higher court.
$70, please.
What are we doing? Buying the courthouse? Now what did I say?
$100 for trying to bribe an officer.
Proceed, Judge Abruzio.
Mike, would you say that these murderers was under the influence?
We didn't say nothing.
We didn't even move.
Spoiled sports.
Judge Abruzio, are you implying that these men have been known to indulge?
Indulge? They indulge till they bulge.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, Your Highness.
According to the complaint, you and this other gentleman...
Gentlemen, now I object.
$20, please.
That wasn't me. I didn't say nothing. That was Julius.
Oh, stop quibbling, for goodness sake.
Mr. Harris?
Yes, sir?
I recognize the spirit which prompted your action.
Recognize it, you can bottle it.
But we cannot have the people taking matters into their own hands. After all, what would we have if everyone decided to dig his own tunnel?
Live pedestrians.
He broke it.
I'm afraid the court can do nothing but find you both guilty as charged.
But, Your Honor...
Judge Abruzio will pass sentence.
Alcatraz, get ready. Mr. Harris?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis?
You just wait, you little crumb.
I sentence you to 160 years of hard labor.
Julius, Your Honor, all we did was dig a hole.
Judge Abruzio, the penalty in a case of this type is generally a fine.
You mean I can't have them executed? Not even one of them?
I'm afraid not.
Gee whiz.
According to my calculations, we need another $210.
$210? For what?
I fine him $210.
Now, wait a minute. That's $500 for digging one little hole?
Not exactly. It's $500 to install one traffic light at Ventura and White Oaks.
Case dismissed.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment.
This is Phil again. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, we've tried to have a little fun with the traffic problem, and we hope we gave you a few laughs. But we'd also like to remind you that the holiday season is coming up, and that means a lot of added traffic on foot and in cars. So let's all try to take it a little easy, especially around the schools. When we're driving, let's watch those traffic lights and crosswalks, because they'll be there, so look for them. Let's all be careful and have a real happy holiday this year. Good night, everyone. Say good night to the people, honey.
Good night, everybody.
That's my girl.
Included in this program transcribed were Douglas Dumbrill, Dick Elliott, and Dick Ryan. The part of Julius was played by Walter Tetley. This has been an NBC Radio Network presentation.
Now here's another episode of the College Quiz Bowl. It's an episode from around this time of year, back in the 50s. I like this show. Lots of good questions about stuff that you, the average listener, should remember from school. The opening is a little wonky and unstable for the first 2 minutes, but don't worry, it stabilizes and it's nice and clean for the rest of the show. From November 27th, 1954, College Quiz Bowl, Minnesota versus Smith.
From the campuses of Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, and the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Good Housekeeping Magazine, presents the transcribed College Quiz Bowl. Tonight, Smith College is out to challenge the varsity scholars from the University of Minnesota, the school that last week beat the brilliant Georgetown University team in a tie playoff here in the College Quiz Bowl. And now, here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Hi there, everybody. We're glad to have you with us for another intercollegiate battle of the brains. Now let's meet the teams. First, we're going way out to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Bob Boyle of station KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul, is on hand to serve again as the referee for the Minnesota team. Are you with us, Bob?
I sure am, Alan. And also, here are the 4 bright Minnesota team members who breathed a deep sigh of relief after the results of last week's game. Here they are to introduce themselves.
Colleen Helgeson Nelson, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Eleanor Vale, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Joe Schechtman, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Chuck Mulkey, Hopkins, Minnesota.
All right, there you've met the varsity scholars from the University of Minnesota. Now let's move up to Northampton, Massachusetts, where Bruce Kern of station WTIC, Hartford, Connecticut, is standing by to referee the Smith College team. How do the Smith girls look, Bruce?
Beautiful, Alan, and smart, too. They've been flexing their academic muscles, and they're out to give Minnesota a good game. Here they are to say hello.
Ket Brain, Tompkins Cove, New York. Nadia Dushkin, Weston, Vermont.
Marcia Weintraub, Bronx, New York.
Mina Ellis, Marblehead, Massachusetts.
All right, now we've met both teams. But before Roger Tuttle explains our rules, may I point out that we recognize the fact that here in the College Quiz Bowl, we're putting the emphasis on a quick recall of specific facts. But we're also trying to give you, our audience, an opportunity to meet a few of the many remarkable, well-rounded personalities to be found today on every American campus. Now, how about those rules, Roger?
Right, Alan, and here they are. Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points. And the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. When Smith College signals, you'll hear... And when the University of Minnesota signals, you'll hear... By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first, even by a split second, activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. Now, if a team gives a wrong answer to the toss-up question, the other team is given a chance to answer it. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question worth a stated number of points. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title in the College Quiz Bowl.
Thank you, Roger. Now, remember, teams, you may interrupt the toss-up question before I've finished asking it. But if you do, and if your answer is wrong, your team will be penalized 5 points, and I'll repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. Okay, those are the rules. There's our opening whistle, so let's go. The first bonus question tonight is worth 30 points. Here's your toss-up. General McAuliffe said nuts. For 10 points, what did John Paul Jones say? Smith College.
Marcia Weintraub.
Don't give up the ship.
Can you take it, Minnesota?
Eleanor Vale.
Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes.
No, he said, I've just begun to fight. Here comes another toss-up question. The 30-point bonus awaits you. 10 points if you can spell the name of the fictional county made famous in the novels of William Faulkner. Minnesota.
Joe Schechtman.
It's Yoknapatawpha. It's
Spell it.
Yokna.
Can you take it, Smith College?
We'll try it, Alan. Nadja Dushkin.
Yoknapatawpa.
All right, I'll throw it both out. P-H-A. P-H-A, nobody got it. Coming up still is the 30-point bonus. In 1862, a man named Samdek Phra Paramanda Mahamungat offered some proboscidea to the President of the United States. For 10 points, who offered what? Minnesota.
Joe Schechtman.
The King of Siam gave some elephants to the American government.
All right, I'll accept it for 10 points. Offered some elements to the elephants. Do you accept it? He did not accept it. All right, but here, Minnesota, is your 30-point bonus that you earned by that. Some witches ride around on broomsticks, but most of them are a lazy lot and spend their time hunched over cauldrons singing songs. You're going to get 10 points each time you can identify the witches who sang or incanted the following words. First, double, double, toil and
Witches
trouble.
Macbeth.
Right. You didn't let me finish. Right. This one, hocus pocus, witch's charm. Move not as you fear my arm. Back or forward, do not try. Fixed as you are by the evil eye.
Would that be in Faust by any chance?
Is this a conference?
No.
Yes, it's...
I need an answer. No, time is called. It's from Hansel and Gretel, Humperdinck's opera, Hansel and Gretel. All right, who is this? Ow, accursed beast, accursed sow. The cauldron dost neglect for shame, accursed brute to scorch the dame. Who said that? The witch in Goethe's Faust. Okay, here we go.
Oh, dear.
A 40-point bonus is coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, identify the man who may be described as, quote, organ builder, organist, architect, Minnesota.
Albert Schweitzer.
Right, for 10 points. That is the interrupted, I was to say, organ builder, organist, architect, philosopher, author, minister, theologian, lumberman, and doctor. Albert Schweitzer is the answer I was seeking, and here is your 40-point bonus, Minnesota. It's a bonus on capital cities of foreign countries. Now, I'm going to name the capitals, and for 10 points apiece, you name the countries. First of all, Beirut.
That would be Lebanon.
Right, for 10 points. Tirana.
Albania.
Right, for 10 points. Caracas.
Venezuela.
Right, for 10 points. Kathmandu.
It's in Asia. It might be, not Afghanistan. It might be Pakistan. No.
Nepal.
That's right, for 10 points. Nepal. All right, before we get along to another toss-up question, let's find out what the stakes are in this quiz game. Roger?
Each week, Good Housekeeping magazine will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. Now, it may go to a campus activity or to a scholarship fund. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractive, dependable Wittnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Wittnauer family of fine watches. Since 1866, maker of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes, Alan. Now, with 20 minutes to go, the score, Minnesota 70 points, Smith College nothing. How about another toss-up question?
All right, the toss-up question is coming up. The bonus question coming up is a 30-point musical bonus. Here's your toss-up. Solomon Grundy was born on Monday. For 10 points, when did he die? Minnesota.
Joe Schechtman.
He died on Friday.
Can you take it, Smith?
We'll try it. Nadja Dushkin.
Saturday?
Right, for 10 points, Saturday. Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, worse on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. This is the end of Solomon Grundy, and you got a 30-point bonus, Smith. You know, there will always be popular songs written around a girl's name. Now, we're going to play 3 such songs, and you're going to earn 10 points every time you identify the girl or the name of the girl in the songs. First.
Margie.
Right, for 10 points. All right, who's this girl?
That was Marcia Weintraub.
Okay, who's this one?
Marcia Weintraub.
Marie.
Right, Marcia, that's Marie. Who's this one? Smith, who's this girl? Don't know that girl? She's a little ahead of your time. Mary Lou. What's the score and time, Roger?
Right now, Alan, 18 and a half minutes to go. Minnesota 70, Smith College 30.
All right, here we go with a 30-point bonus coming up. For 10 points, tell us. What do the Amenhoteps and the Hohenstaufens have in common? Smith.
They're both
Nadja
dynasties.
Yes, they are both royal families. They're dynasties. Right, for 10 points, Smith College, here's your 30-point bonus. In literature and legend, there have been quite a few characters who, if they lived today, might well be brought up before the court for juvenile delinquents. Now, I'm going to give you 10 points for each of the following minor delinquents that you can identify. First of all, the conservation authorities might well charge this young lad for unlawfully felling timber, but he'd probably be acquitted as he manfully confessed his guilt.
Mina Ellis.
George Washington.
Right. He chopped down a cherry tree, okay? For 10 points. The SPCA would prosecute this nursery rhyme character for trying to drown a pussycat.
Mina Ellis.
Little Johnny Green threw the cat in the well, but little Tommy Stout pulled him out.
Oh, you got the whole thing. That's right, for 10 points. Little Johnny Green was the name I was seeking, all right? Out of jealousy and spite, this boy destroyed an invalid's wheelchair by pushing it over the side of a mountain.
Nigel Dushkin.
That's in Heidi, and it's Peter, isn't it?
That's right, Peter, for 10 points. Scoring time, Roger.
Right now, Alan, 17 minutes to go. We have a tie at the outset. Minnesota 70, Smith 70. Another toss-up question.
Okay, we got a 40-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, what century-old non-political argument involving a question of high importance did the Indian government attempt to settle recently? I'll repeat it. What century-old non-political argument involving a question of high importance did the Indian government... Minnesota.
Chuck Mulkey. Well, the Indian government really recently evaluated the height of Mount Everest and determined that it was 26 feet higher than it was
That
reported.
is the answer, Chuck. That's it. The answer I was seeking was the height of Mount Everest, and I had no idea you were going to tell me the difference, but you were, and you got for that now a 40-point bonus, Minnesota. It's a bonus question on famous military sieges and assaults. 10 points for each of the following questions that you can answer correctly. What city fell after a 10-year siege, Minnesota?
Troy, wasn't it?
Troy, right, for 10 points. What city was besieged and circled for 6 days and circled and finally taken on the 7th?
In the Bible?
Jericho?
Right.
Yes,
Jericho is right for 10 points, Minnesota. Now, what southern city fell after a 47-day siege, giving the North control of the Mississippi River and cutting the...
Vicksburg.
All right, cutting the Confederacy in two, I was going to say. Vicksburg is right for 10 points. Now, what city fell in 1759 after the assaulting army surprised the defenders of the city by scaling a steep... Quebec. That's right for 10 points. Score in time, Roger.
15 minutes to go, Alan. Minnesota has 120. Smith has 70.
All right, here's a toss-up question, and your bonus question coming up is worth 30 points. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. Tell us, to what sport was Rip Van Winkle a spectator? Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale.
9 pins or bowling.
Right, for 10 points. I was going to say just before he took a nap. And 9 pins or bowling is what I was looking for. Here is your bonus question, Minnesota. It's a chance to pick up 30 points by merely knowing the Constitution of the United States. That ought to be easy for you. For 10 points. What is the minimum age prescribed for a United States Senator?
30 years old.
Right, for 10 points. In connection with what does the Constitution require 2 witnesses and an open confession?
Naturalization.
No.
It's an oath of office.
Some kind.
Time is called
Presidency.
conviction for treason. Conviction for treason, Article 3. All right. What is the provision in the 21st Amendment?
That repealed the 18th Amendment, which was prohibition.
Right, for 10 points, Minnesota. Score in time, Roger.
Right now, 13 and a half minutes to go. Minnesota has 150. Smith has 70. Alan, back to another toss-up.
All right, 10 points. Coming up is the musical bonus, I'll tell you. 10 points if you can identify the source of the following line. It's, quote, no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. Minnesota.
Joe Scheckman. Our national anthem.
The Star-Spangled Banner, right, 3rd verse. Even by misreading it, you got it. All right. Minnesota, you got a musical bonus this time. I'm going to play excerpts now from 1 popular and 2 classical compositions. For 10 points apiece, you are to name the season mentioned in the title of each piece. First, for 10 points.
The autumn.
Right. 10 points for Minnesota. Autumn leaves, all right? What is the season mentioned in the title of this one? Time is called. That's
Having
music
a conference.
from... You have a conference? Time is called. I'm sorry. That is Mendelssohn's music from Midsummer's Night's Dream. Midsummer or Midsummer, I would have accepted. All right, what's the season mentioned in this?
That's Rite of Spring, Alan.
That's right. Spring by Stravinsky. Okay.
Hold it, Alan. That's the halftime whistle, which calls for a 1-minute timeout as of right now.
Thank you, Roger. We're going to talk to the teams in just a moment, but first, may I remind you that each month, Good Housekeeping magazine runs a page of college quiz bowl questions. Now, for a chance to match your wits with our collegiate champions, see the December issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. It's on the newsstand right now. Good Housekeeping, you know, also awards the $500 weekly cash prize that goes to the college of the winning team here in our radio quiz bowl game. Now let's meet our teams tonight. I'd like to talk, first of all, to the members of the challenging team, Smith College. Girls, I want to find out what your plans are. Kent Brain, you're a senior, right?
Yes, that's right.
What are your plans after graduation?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'd like to do graduate school next year, and then after that, perhaps international work of some sort.
Fine. Nadia Dushkin, what are your plans? You're a senior, aren't you?
Yes, also graduate work and eventually teaching.
You're going to be a teacher?
Yes.
Fine. We need good teachers. Marcia Weintraub, you're a senior?
That's right.
And
I plan to be married next year, Alan.
Oh, you do? Is that the end of your plans, then? Huh?
No, I'll be working in New York, probably.
Oh, I see. You're going to be married next year. Well, fine, Marcia, and the most happiness to you.
Thank you.
Now, Mina Ellis, you're a junior, right?
That's right.
What are your plans upon graduation?
I'd like to go to law school and eventually get a place in the Supreme Court if I could.
Oh, I see. Well, that's a nice, lofty ambition, and best of wishes to you. Now let's go out to Minnesota and meet the members again of the Minnesota team, finding out what their plans are. Eleanor Vale, I understand you are a junior at the university, right?
That's right, Alan.
Your plans?
Well, I'm in theater now. I'd like to go into either radio and television or perhaps community theater with a little study and graduate work on the side.
Very fine, very fine. Colleen Helgeson Nelson. Married. It's Mrs. Nelson, isn't it, Colleen?
That's right.
A senior this year. What are your plans next year?
Well, I'm hoping to get a bachelor's degree in zoology, and after that, aside from my marriage, of course, I would like to do some wildlife painting.
All right. That's very interesting. Chuck Mulkey, you are a senior.
That's right, Alan.
Your
My plans are rather indefinite now, but they do include some years of graduate work and perhaps law school after I've completed some of that.
Law school is your...
That's right. I may try and do some foreign service work. I don't know.
Very fine. Good to have you in the foreign service. Joseph Scheckman, you're a senior. What are your plans?
Well, if I keep my grades up and get into graduate school, I'd like to be a sociologist.
Well, at the rate you're going, I think you're going to keep your grades up, don't you? Okay, it looks like our time period is up, so let's get back to the quiz. There's our whistle.
And right now, Alan, with the score, Minnesota 180, Smith College 70 points. How about another toss-up question? 9.5 minutes to go.
The 25-point bonus is in the offing. Here's your toss-up. King, it's a relationship question. Listen. King Arthur was to Guinevere as Henry Richard Labouisse is to who? Minnesota.
Colleen Nelson.
Eve Curie.
Right for 10 points, Minnesota. Eve Curie is married to Henry Richard Labouisse. And you got the relationship correctly, and you earned 25-point bonus for Minnesota, Colleen. You know, the United States oil crews are currently drilling for oil in Israel's Negev Desert Dead Sea area. 25 points now, Minnesota. Anybody on the team? If you can identify the lady whose boyfriend gave her what was perhaps the first foreign petroleum concession in this area.
Would that have been...
It sounds like Solomon, doesn't it? And the Queen of Sheba. It's
Is that the answer you're going to give me?
Well, what do you say, Ken?
It wasn't Lot's wife, was it?
No, I don't
It's
think
biblical. Let's try Queen of Sheba.
All right, you try it and you lost it. It's wrong. Cleopatra. Mark Antony gave her the Dead Sea so that she... Cleopatra, Mr. McGregor tells me, so that the Dead Sea, so that she might benefit from the asphalt in it. The Egyptians used asphalt to seal mummy cases and to waterproof buildings. It says right here. Okay, time to score, Roger.
Right now, Alan, 8 minutes to go. Minnesota has 190. Smith has 70 points.
Okay, here we go with a 25-point bonus coming up. For 10 points, tell us, in what famous orchestral work do we hear the students' song, Gaudeamus, Minnesota?
Joe Scheckman.
That's in Brahms' Academic Festival.
That's right, Brahms' Academic Festival, which is Gaudeamus Igitur. All right, Joe, you got that, and you got a 25-point bonus. You're going to score high in this bonus question if you're familiar with cliches, platitudes, and nonsensical expressions. For a quick 5 points apiece, 5 points apiece, quote the common expression which seems to deal with the following. First, the odor of a rodent.
I smell a rat.
Right. Well, that's fast. The incisors of a lady chicken.
Hen's teeth. Rare as hen's teeth.
Scarce as hen's teeth. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the common expression. Okay. The security and comfort of an insect.
Snug as a bug in a rug.
Right. For 5 points. The distance from a grasshopper's foot to its middle leg joint.
Knee-high to a grasshopper.
Right, for 5 points. The sautéing of an ichthyologist's subject.
Out of the frying pan into the fire? No. Spider, something to do with
fish.
Other fish to fry. That's 5 points you missed. All right, score and time, Rod.
Right now, 6.5 minutes, Alan. Minnesota has 220. Smith has 70.
All right, and a 20-point bonus is coming up. Only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still exists. For 10 points, what is it? Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale.
Would that be the pyramids in Egypt?
That is an answer. I will accept it as an answer. That's the right one. The Egyptian pyramids. Right. But it was asked me, not answered to me. All right. Minnesota, you got a 20-point bonus there. Mother Goose must have had the college quiz bowl in mind when she wrote the following mathematical bonus question. Now listen to the words of the verse carefully, and I'm going to give you 20 points if you can answer the question that will be asked at the end of the quotation. Quote, as I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kittens. Kits, cats, sacks, and wives. How many did I meet on my way to St. Ives?
Did you meet...
No. It's 49, 243. Wait a minute. 7 times 243. Quick. 28.
Joe's working on it, Alan.
Yeah, I think it's 7. No, you add 1 for the man. I think 1,702.
No. Faster rundown, and I can't accept it. 1 man, 7 wives, 49 sacks, 343 cats, 2,401 kits, a total of 2,801. And we did a little rewriting on that nursery rhyme there. Time and score, Roger.
5 minutes to go. Minnesota has 230. Smith has 70, Alan.
All right, here we go with a 20-point bonus coming up. 10 points. If you can quote the first line of the Robert Frost poem, which extols the virtues of a deciduous tree of the genus Petula. Minnesota.
I believe, Eleanor Vale.
Well, it's from the birches.
Can you take it, Smith? Can you take it, Smith?
I'm afraid we can't, Alan.
All right. When I see birches bend to left and right was the answer I was seeking.
Along the line of darker, straighter, darker trees. Yes, now I know it.
Okay, here we go. 20-point bonus is coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, with what kind of art form do we associate with Mount Rushmore? Minnesota.
Colleen Nelson.
Sculptor.
Right, sculpturing the heads of the presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt, or Mount Rushmore. Here's your 20-point bonus, Minnesota. 20 points if you can tell us which area is larger, the territory of the original 13 states or the territory of Alaska purchased from Russia. Which is larger?
I'd say Alaska.
I would say Alaska, definitely.
Is Alaska the definitive answer?
Yes.
That's wrong.
Yes.
The original 13 states. The state's combined area is 888,811 square miles, while the Alaska territory is 586,400 square miles.
We're way off.
Right here. Okay, here's a 25-point bonus coming up. Score in time, Roger.
Right now, 3.5 minutes to go. Minnesota has 240. Smith has 70, Alan.
All right, for 10 points, tell us. What United States ambassador has been at one time or another a foreign correspondent, a magazine editor? Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale again.
Would that be Claire Booth Luce?
Right, for 10 points, Claire Booth Luce. All right, here's your bonus question, Minnesota. Senator Wallace Bennett of Utah wound up a speech in the McCarthy...
That would be Macbeth.
Now, I think the least you can do is let me ask you. Just for everybody's edification, let me ask the question. Wound up a speech in the McCarthy debate by saying, if it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. For 25 points, what character was the senator quoting it again, Joe?
That was Chuck.
That was
Macbeth.
That's Macbeth. It's from Act 1, Scene 7.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Plotting murder of-
I would have accepted Macbeth. 25 points. 25 points. Okay, here we go with the 25-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, who was the only American officer ever to hold the commission of General of the Armies? Smith College.
George Washington.
Can you take it, Minnesota?
Joe Schechtman.
That would be Pershing.
General Pershing, the only one. Washington did not get it. General Pershing is the answer, Minnesota. Here's your 25-point bonus. According to legend, Leander swam across the Hellespont between Abydos and Sestos to visit his sweetheart Hero. For 25 points, describe the means that King Xerxes used to cross the Hellespont.
Oh, dear.
You don't have to tell me when. Just tell me how. Minnesota.
That wouldn't be the one who built a bridge out of ships, was it?
Yes, it was.
That's right. Good.
For 25 points, you were tentative, but he did. He built 2 ship bridges over which he and his men marched. Okay, here we go with a 25-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, who described Russia as a riddle wrapped in a mystery? Minnesota.
That would be Winston Churchill.
Right.
Joe Schechtman.
I'll finish the question. A riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Winston Churchill. Okay? Here's your bonus question, Minnesota. 25 points if you can correctly quote the first verse of the William Blake poem, The Tiger.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night.
What immortal
hand or eye
could
can
frame
frame
thy
thy fearful symmetry?
Right, to the word. 25 points. A 20-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. The next Congress will be led by 2 men from the same state. For 10 points, Minnesota.
Chuck Mulkey.
The minority leader in the House of Representatives is Mr. Martin, and the majority leader in the House of Representatives is Mr. McCormick.
Can you take it? I'll repeat it for Minnesota, for Smith, penalizing Minnesota 5 points. The next Congress will be led by 2 men from the same state for 10 points. Who are they?
I'm sorry, Alan. That's it.
Lyndon Johnson and Senator Representative Sam Rayburn. Okay.
I'm sorry, the time was up, Alan. That means the game's over for this week. The final score in the College Quiz Bowl tonight is 70 points for Smith College and 340 points for the winner, the University of Minnesota. To each member of the Smith College team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Whitnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnauer family of fine watches. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. For fielding the winning team tonight, the University of Minnesota will receive a $500 gift from Good Housekeeping magazine to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Minnesota will return next week to compete in the new All-American quiz game with the varsity scholars of the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. In the meantime, to try your hand at more of these questions, why not read the Quiz Bowl page in the December issue of Good Housekeeping magazine? It's on the newsstands now. Here once again, your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Well, I want to congratulate the University of Minnesota and to the fine young ladies at Smith College, Kent Brain, Nedja Dushkin, Marcia Weintraub, Minna Ellis, and their alternate, Deborah Plazer. I want to say thank you. You did a wonderful job, Smith College. Now, next week, Minnesota meets Georgia. In the following weeks, we're going to have varsity scholars from Northwestern University, Washington and Lee University, Wesleyan University, and many other outstanding colleges and universities throughout the United States. So, won't you be with us next week and every week for an exciting quiz game here in the College Quiz Bowl? This is Alan Ludden saying now, so long, everybody.
Your referees tonight were for Smith College, Bruce Kern of station WTIC in Hartford, and for the University of Minnesota, Bob Boyle of station KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. College Quiz Bowl is a transcribed NBC Radio Network presentation, originated and produced by John Moses and Don Reed, written by Nancy Fogue, and directed by Ken McGregor. This is Roger Tuttle speaking.
That's your old-time radio fix for this week. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Be sure to subscribe to The Chronic Rift on iTunes or visit us frequently at chronicrift.com.
What a voice. What a voice. Simply means ink. A dink-a-doo, a dink-a-dee. Good night, folks. Signing off.
Venture a highway in the sunshine, where the days are longer, the nights are stronger than moonshine. You're gonna go, I know. Cause a free wind is blowing through your hair, the days surround your daylight there. Seasons crying, no despair. Alligator